Today's video is brought to you by Figurama Collectors. They're going to be having their first release in their Lupin the Third line, and it's actually going to be the first statue of this high of quality to be done in this specific format. Fujiko, Lupin, and Jigen are all featured on the statue for really the first time ever, and the scene is a reference to the official art that was done for Lupin the Third Part 4 during their Italian adventure. The statue features his yellow coupe with all of the different wears and tears it has throughout all of his different adventures, and the base of the statue features cobblestone, a manhole cover, and all sorts of realistic details in order to represent the Italian streets, if you will. The pre-order for the statue is on October 22nd at 11 p.m. JST. So if you're interested, make sure you join the waitlist immediately, because as I've said before, these statues are known to sell out in less than a day, sometimes even within the first hour. And Figurama statues usually tend to double in price on the market once they've sold out. So make sure you join the waitlist. They also even sent me this really neat coupon code through a letter, which I thought was an absolutely amazing detail.
If you call Italy the land of love, then all the love is in my hand. To prove so, I stole a coupon code just for you. TM Lupin for $25 off your purchase. And thanks to Figurama once again for sponsoring today's video.
Okay, so we need to talk. Nothing bad happened at all whatsoever, all right? It's not that serious, but nonetheless, it's a question I want to bring forward because it's one I've had with the pals. And I was like, you know what? I feel like this would be a lot better if it was brought into a more open discussion where y'all could give your input as well. So the terms new gen and old gen. Usually when people talk about all the best new gen manga that's coming out, they usually refer to whatever mainstream shonen's coming out. And that's not to diminish it, that's just the case. Hardly ever do I hear best new gen manga and it's not a shonen. But that's besides the point. Old gen and new gen. Usually when we talk about new gen, I think most people are referring to series such as Demon Slayer, Jujutsu Kaisen, Chainsaw Man. Now it would be Gachiakuta and Dandaran, Spy X Family, etc., 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 etc. And then when it comes to old gen, your typical series, Naruto, Bleach, One Piece, Full Metal Alchemist. I think most people would also throw Hunter x Hunter in there as well. So that's what people refer to when they say old gen. So My Hero Academia. My Hero came out back in 2014. In 2 years, that will be a decade old. When that happens, do we continue to call it new gen or is it now old gen? And it feels weird throwing it in old gen because Naruto's about to celebrate its 20th anniversary. One Piece has been out since like the late 90s. Freaking, what else? Bleach came out in the early 2000s. And those series have double the lifespan as My Hero Academia. So, and that's not even bringing in even older series that came out in the 80s, the 70s, or even the 60s. It feels like what we do is we do new gen, and that's like the last 10 years, and then old gen is like 50 plus years of manga history. Okay, so here's my proposition. So for those of you that don't know or haven't seen me comment on channels like B-Souls and Sage or Legend of Winning, I'm a big fan of basketball. Very big fan. I follow the NBA just as much as I follow the Premier League and La Liga and any other international football tournaments that be happening. But yeah, big fan of basketball. The team that I got into back in the day was the Oklahoma City Thunder with Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook. I think you can all imagine that I've been a pretty suicidal basketball fan recently. So, but anyways, and usually when it comes to basketball discussions, it's split up by eras. 50s basketball, 60s basketball, although 50s and 60s usually gets lumped in. 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, 2010s, and now what would be the 2020s. Now, listen, like I said, this ain't a big deal. I'm not going to be like, oh, if you say new gen or old gen, I'm going to like pop up behind you and slap you across. No. It ain't like that. However, I think it's going to come to the point where simply just saying new gen and old gen just doesn't cut it, and I think we're getting to that point, or we've already been there, and none of us just want to like talk about it. This is going to be a really stupid correlation, but I'm gonna do it anyway. So like, okay, One Piece started late 90s, but it really dominated and blew up into sales, and the majority of its story has been prevalent throughout the 2000s and the 2010s. In basketball, I guess you could say it was kind of like Kobe. Came into the league 96, yeah, the 96 draft, but he won all 5 of his championships in the 2000s. So if somebody asks me, yes, One Piece is a 90s manga, but if you would include it in 2000s, then that's fine, I guess. I don't know. I haven't thought of this a lot, all right? This topic was just on my mind, all right? And I wanted to bring it up to y'all because maybe I'm lacking in regard to this, and I also just needed a video for this sponsor. Anyways, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. And as always, this has been The Masked Man. Hope everyone has a blessed rest of the day, and peace.